Well, isn't this exciting?
So exciting.
Am I ugly? Intriguing. What made you choose such a thought-provoking question for a title?
The title, Am I Ugly, was actually inspired by the last line in my proposal where I said I wrote this book for the girls who are Googling the words, Am I Ugly? There are 10,000 people Googling those words, and just that thought alone makes me so sad that people would entrust such influential question on to strangers across the internet. And I wanted this book to appeal to those people who are worried about whether they're coming across as ugly or not.
So what was your general book writing process like?
So I was initially inspired to write this book lying in a hospital bed at 19 years old. I was really worried I was going to die. That's quite morbid, but true. And I became obsessed with the idea that all I'd done with my entire life was study. So I really wanted to leave something permanent in this world, and I really didn't care whether it was published or not. I just wanted to make sure that if I died, I would leave something permanent, and that's when I started writing it. The problem was I was really insecure about my writing, so I spent about 2 years writing 2,000 words and then deleting it and doing that back and forth for 2 years until one day I decided to just stop deleting everything. I put a ban on myself. I wasn't allowed to delete anything, and I started writing it actually on the way to meetings. I was a trained life coach by that point, in the notes section of my phone, and I did that for about 6 months. Every time I got on the tube, I thought of a new event in my life and started writing. By the end of 6 months, I had 200,000 words. For people who don't know, a book of my size is usually around 80,000, so I had a lot of editing to do, and only once all those words were written did I begin editing.
When did you realise your desire to become an author?
I realised I wanted to become an author when I had actually finished the book. I had never written it with the intention to publish, but once it's written and once you put so much time and energy into it, I just felt like that 15-year-old me, the one I was writing about, the 13-year-olds I was writing about, they needed a book like this. They needed a book where the pressure was off to not be an inspiration. They needed a book where they could be angry, be sad, and it was okay. I've not seen any books out there that talk about illness in the way I do in my memoir, and that's honestly what inspired me to be an author.
Honestly, that is so inspirational, and I hope anyone out there listening to this can be inspired by what you're saying. Now, what would you say are your top 3 book recommendations for improving self-confidence?
My top 3 book recommendations for self-confidence are Body Positive Power by Megan Jane Crabb, Things No One Tells Fat Girls by Jess Baker, and Gifts of Imperfection by Brené Brown.
Now, I personally love the quote, know your worth, then add tax. What is your favourite quote about body positivity?
My favourite quote about body confidence is one of my own, but I tend to say this quite a lot, and it's my favourite thing to say, that body confidence and body size are not correlated. You can be fat and confident, you can be thin and insecure, and changing your body size won't change your confidence.
Preach! Now, from personal experience, where are the best places, people or things to find writing inspiration?
I tend to find writing inspiration from everyday life. It's actually when I'm not thinking about writing and when I'm not thinking about a book that I will get these moments, and I'm very forgetful. I have a really bad memory, so it's usually in the notes section of my phone. You'll find all of my small sentences of inspirations that I've had, and I can be quite annoying because sometimes it comes to me in the middle of dinner. I'll be like, I'm so sorry, I need to write this down, because if I don't write it down, and this is what I've learned the hard way, if I don't write it down, I will absolutely forget it. It also tends to happen in the middle of TV shows and movies, so don't watch a TV show or movie with me.
Noted. Now, what advice do you have for aspiring authors?
My advice for aspiring authors is do not edit until you have finished writing it. The thing that stopped me writing for 2 years, as I mentioned before, was literally the fact that I was editing as I was trying to write. Finish it, write all of it. Even if you make a spelling mistake or a grammar mistake, you can fix it later. But stopping writing to edit actually ruins your momentum, ruins your flow, and will turn your critical brain on, which often means you will turn on your inner critic and your inner voice, which will lean on the side of telling you that your work is no good, when rarely that's actually true. But if you write and stay on the creative side of it, that's when more things will come to you, and then later you can go back and edit it.
Thanks for joining me in today's Author's Corner, Michelle. You are a gem. Now, where can we find your new book?
Thank you so much for having me, Tee Cee. You can get Am I Ugly at WH Smith's, Waterstones, Amazon, all good bookstores. It's my memoir of having 15 surgeries, going through those surgeries, becoming confident with the scars they left me, and then becoming confident with my body and in my life in general. I hope you enjoy reading it. Thank you so much for having me. Bye!